We're back in the evening setup, which looks so much nicer than the daytime setup, but I'm supposed to be pretty much asleep by now. It's not 5 a.m. this time, so that's, a start. But I told myself I was going to record a video every Sunday, so I'm making myself do this. I don't really have a specific topic. I had a video I wanted to make today, but I think it's going to require some planning, so I'm just going to do this one instead. And it's kind of piggyback off that. In the video that I wanted to make was about how I gained 30 pounds or 50 pounds in like a year and a half. Went from 120 pounds soaking wet up to 175 or 170, I guess. I went to 175, but it was a little longer after, but it doesn't matter. Point is, I gained like over 50 pounds, and by the way, I'm 5'11", so 120 pounds of 5'11" is, very, very skinny. Today I wanted to talk about basically the value and I guess just how to be thankful for your own inadequacies. And it's really going to be an overarching theme, and I'm going to use this example for like many things. Like it could be for fitness, this could be for business, like anything financially related, and just overall like self-improvement. Where I'm going with this is the fact that you're extremely inadequate in one area will actually force you to change. And you should be thankful for that, because a lot of people live their life on this line where they're like doing just enough. They're making enough money to get by, so it's comfortable. They're in a okay shape. They were just, they just had good genetics. They were born naturally with good genetics where they don't put on a lot of weight, or they don't, they're not scrawny either. Like they just kind of naturally built some muscle during puberty. Maybe they lifted weights in high school, and then they've kind of maintained it, and they just look okay. And I realized that if you are extremely inadequate in these areas, that's when you're actually going to be forced to grow. Like I was so underweight, and I was so skinny and so scrawny and so like uncomfortable with the way I looked. And, so many people, I think, I have kind of like a differing outlook on this idea that, you should accept yourself for who you are and be yourself and all these things. And I just think it's a crock of shit is what I think, because you have the ability to change who you are. Like, don't use this whole, be who you are, love yourself for who you are thing as an excuse to not improve yourself. To use it as an excuse to not become a better version of yourself, especially when you have the control. There are certain things that you can't control. And that's what we're going to talk about actually, is kind of your baseline and your starting point. And again, being thankful for how maybe bad or low that starting point may be. For me, I grew up super skinny, and maybe I'll throw in like a little before and after, like one or two throughout this video. I want to make a video breaking down, how I did what I did and gaining all the weight and showing you all the pictures and all the fun stuff there. I don't want to edit this video, so maybe I'll throw in a picture or two. But I was extremely skinny like my entire life growing up, and I was just so fed up with it. I was just so tired of being scrawny, being the skinny kid, being, just unhappy with the way I looked. And that was my catalyst to make serious change. Not just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym a couple days a week. Like, no, like, we're bulking. We're putting on some serious weight. We're going to the gym 6 days a week, working out with people who are, giant bodybuilders, learning how to do this the right way. Like, it was that level of inadequacy that made me need to pursue it. Like I had to make a change, or I was just going to be even continue to be fed up with myself, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. And so many people they want to like use this mediocre advice that you should just it's okay, love yourself for who you are and all that. And accepting yourself for who you are is different than being content and being just like complacent. Don't get me wrong, there's a level of acceptance, because you're never going to get where you like actually want to be. Like I kind of, you realize that on the pursuit of anything, that you'll always want more, right? But that's not really the point here. I think it's the pursuit of that that gets you inevitably where you need to be, or at least for you to, learn along the way. So I think the thing I wanted to talk about is baselines, though, specifically. Like, I have found myself very, at times, irritated with like my natural baseline. Like, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, like my wrists are freaking tiny. Like, you can see that. Like, I can wrap a whole finger and around here. Like, I have tiny little bones. That's why I'm so, like, naturally so skinny. I got small little hands and ankles, and like that's just genetically how I am. Now, there's a whole other conversation to do with, like, how much you eat and all that during your developmental years, but we're not going to get into that. But like, that's before I knew that, obviously. Like, I'm sometimes really irritated by my baseline, with how small I am. Or, I'm going to use an example for someone else. If you grew up in a really, really like poor family, and that's your baseline, that's what you're used to. And, it's hard to move away from your baseline. Like, it's the where you start at, it's you have to climb up from there, and that's just part of it. But again, understand that these things are actually blessings in disguise, because a lot of these people who are just kind of at this mediocre level, they may never move from there. They have no reason to grow. They're doing enough. They're making enough money. They look good enough. They're an average weight. And if I haven't made this clear already from some of the things I've talked about, is some people are okay with that, and I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. Anything that I speak about is really truly with intention of being the greatest version of yourself. Like, that's what I care about personally. For me, I just want to be the best version of myself. Good enough is not enough for me. That's just personally that's my outlook on life. So, some of this stuff I think is going to come across kind of harsh. And, at the end of the day, I think that's kind of a necessary thing, at least for me. Sometimes you got to be on top of yourself, telling no, like, this is what we're doing. You got to make it happen, because it's so easy to fall into the trap of, I don't feel like it and all these things. And I'm rambling like bad. Like, I may not post this video truthfully, but guys, like, if you're watching this, I'm sure you have something in your life that is, you just got the short end of the stick. Like, you started out really low, and again, my example is just my physical size, because I have this, goal to really grow and put on muscle and build a great physique. And like, I started so low, and I know people who started out at 170, 180, and then they started working out. And it's like, I busted my ass for almost 2 years to be like the average weight of someone my height, to barely look like I lift. Like, I don't know, you can kind of, like, a little bit, but like, if I'm flexed, if you just see me walking around the street, these little fucking dainty wrists, you don't even think I work out, probably. Like, but you know what? That's just the reality of it. I'm going to have to work 10 times harder than the average person to get where I want to get. But that's where the growth really happens. Along the way, all these character traits that you're gonna gather up during. My light just died. We're just you don't really need to see me that much. It's not that important. Anyway, but overarching theme here. Take these weaknesses and these inadequacies that you have and use them as your catalyst to start and to make a serious impact in your life, because you should feel lucky. You should be honored that you have such an inadequacy in your life that you will be pushed to make a change. Most of these people who have an average level of these things, they could give a shit less. You know how hard it's going to be for them to start something like that? Damn near impossible. But you're privileged enough to have such a low level of whatever it may be, amount of money, amount of muscle, whatever it may be. You are privileged enough to have something screaming at you to make a change in your life. So take that as you will. Take these things in your brain that are screaming at you and listen to them. Because your body, your mind, your subconscious, it knows what you need. And, so many people are going to tell you that, it's okay to be where you are, but as soon as you make the change and the improvement, then they're going to be congratulating you. So don't listen to the people around you, because most people have terrible advice, and that's probably a whole other video. And as I'm sitting here like giving you advice, take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm just some idiot on the internet. Like I'm nobody. It's just, this is literally my brain dump of a video for you. So I hope this is in some way, shape, or form valuable if I even post this. But I need to go to sleep. That's it.